I have database from one of my students. It's not big, like 10k hands, and we're gonna try to analyze everything. Pre-flop things, every position, calling, 3-bets, opening, 4-betting, everything we're gonna talk about. Usually what I do with my students, I try to find 3 leaks. 1 leak that it's pre-flop and 2 leaks that are post-flop. If you give to people too many things to work on, they will make super big mistakes. So that's why I prefer like small and often, like monthly 3 leaks. So button opens, he calls with 5s. I don't recommend that. 5 should be like 100% 3-betting versus button with no worries. Like he needs to have more hands. So as a second leak, the preflop ranges is that he doesn't 3-bet enough from small blind versus button. Like button is a stealing position, he steals a lot. As I said, you need to open like 43, 44, up to 50% from the button. That means that small blind needs to 3-bet a lot. We use hands like 5, 6, 7, 8, all the pocket pairs from 5s above. We need to 3-bet every time, even king 9 suited, queen 9 suited, jack 10 suited, all this. Yeah, he needs to work a little bit on this 3-bet range. Versus early middle, this is a little bit too loose in my opinion. Like versus early middle, you need to be a little bit more tighter. Obviously we're gonna use 10s plus, 9s as well, but this offsuit part, like queen 10 offsuit, is kind of bad to 3-bet. The worst hand in the offsuit part, we're gonna have king queen off. We're gonna 3-bet obviously ace jack off versus middle position, not versus under the gun, but king queen off we can use versus under the gun in middle as a bluff obviously. And definitely we're gonna use ace 5 suited, ace 4 suited, and all this suited part here. Another super important thing in this spot is what we defend from the big blind versus early and middle position. Big blind is a position where you are going to lose every time, and the most money you're losing in cash games are from the big blind. Let's take for example queen 10 off. What's the difference between queen 10 off and queen 10 suited? Well, the first most important difference, and nobody understands it perfectly, is that queen 10 off you have 16 combos. Queen 10 suited you have 4 combos. So for example, if you're gonna face a flop with queen high, having queen 10 off every time, you're gonna be in that spot of 16 times, and you're gonna need to defend top pair, top kicker on every street, because people can bluff, whatever. You can also have the best hand, like let's say it's 10 high board, you need to call down 3 streets with 10 and queen kicker, but a lot of the time you're gonna lose that, and that's why is the most important thing is to defend suited cards more than offsuit cards. Obviously, because the added value of flash draw, yeah. If you defend a suited card, you're gonna hit more flashes. What you need to take into consideration is that the number of combos that you have. So you have 16 combos offsuit versus 4 combos suited. So that's why it's better to defend more suited cards, but not the offsuit part of the range, because you're gonna have way too many weak hands. As I was saying, you are losing every time from the big blind, so you need to pay attention on what hands do you defend versus early position, versus cutoff and button as well, because you don't have position. Having position is what matters almost every time in poker. Our student here, as you can see, he defends way too many hands from big blind versus under the gun and middle, which is a big mistake. Like for example, hands like king 10 off, queen 10 off, jack 10 off are super bad to defend. Every time king jack off, queen jack off, like obviously you need to have it, but keep it like, I don't know, 20% of the times, not every time, not 100%. This is what matters. In the other side, everything is a call, it's good. The only thing I need to add is that he doesn't 3-bet too much. So if you see a guy like this 3-betting, fold 100%, yeah? 3-bet from big blind versus cutoff. Our range should be a little bit bigger. We can defend more hands, like we can defend ace 9 off, we can defend more queen 10 offs, jack 10 offs, because also cutoff opens almost 30% of the range. So it's gonna be a little bit more equity for our Broadways here. And again, we see that he doesn't 3-bet enough. He doesn't have any bluffs in his 3-bet, has some semi-bluffs like that have a lot of equity, Queen-10 suited, Queen-Jack suited, and the rest are like Jacks plus, Ace-King, Ace-Jack suited, King-Queen suited, only good hands. Let's go further to 3-bet from the big blind versus button. Now he added some other things like Jack-6, Ace-3, Ace-4, like should be everywhere. This range seems a little bit better, but again, like in this position, you need to have a little bit more range. Like usually a lot of people have the league that open from the button and fold too much the 3-bets. They don't defend enough, so you need to put a little bit more pressure. And we are down to the last league, folding river. You need to call a lot on the river. We open Ace Queen, 2 people call here. Okay, we check flop. So in this spot, like I said, you need to have a lot of checking range when somebody else calls after you, but definitely this is going to be a check raise every time. Like you need to raise it here, like I don't know, at least 12 bigs every time. So turn goes check, 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 and somehow we bet fold this river. How can we fold here? Yeah, call every time. Yeah, he's gonna have a 5. What can we do? We open here under the gun. This guy flats in the middle position. What can he have? One combo of Ace-5, and it's not even there. Like Ace-5 of hearts, he cannot have. What 5 can he have? I don't think he ever has a 5 here. Like never. The only hand he can have, yeah, he can have 6s.